So let's go back to bacterial vaginosis and BV. And one of the indicators for BV is a lack of lactobacillus bacteria. And this actually can change as we age, but lactobacillus being depleted is certainly something that is shown up time and time again in testing. So that is something that you can supplement with. Now, I don't personally advise the drinks because I don't think they're good enough. You really need a really good quality bacteria with many strains of bacteria, but with lactobacillus being one of the highest ones. And there's many ranges out there, but have a look at them, or you can't actually advise specific ones, although we do use some of the testing companies have very good brands themselves that can help redress the vaginal microbiome. So if we move now to the actual pH and what it does with regards to fertility, when we're talking about male pH, the pH of the semen is actually really important, and for problems with fertility that actually needs to be checked, and in many basic tests it's not done. So you need to go through your testing, your reports, and see what their pH is. So if the pH is too high or too low, then that will make an effect on the on your results. So a fun fact for you is the human body has 10 times more bacteria than it does cells. Studies to do with bacteria and the microbiome, specifically of the vagina, have actually increased in recent years, and there is more and more studies being shown to link issues with fertility and microbiome issues. One thing that has been challenged in recent years is that people understood that the uterus was a sterile environment, but they're actually showing now that it can be invaded by organisms. So actually the uterus is no longer sterile, and therefore if there is any kind of infection, then that can have an effect on pregnancy outcomes, on implantation, and also on IVF outcomes. So actually if you're due to have IVF, then if there are recurring issues, then a microbiome test, a vaginal microbiome test, could be one of your first things to do to make sure that there's nothing going on, to save you the money. You know, you're looking at £8 to 10 grand on IVF. So a quick test to rule out that you haven't got any kind of underlying infection or excessive bacteria could make a massive impact on your outcome of IVF, for example. As I said earlier, depending on where you are in your month, those bacteria can be different, and also during your period, depending on whether you're using tampons or pads, that can also massively affect the microbiome of the vagina. So again, consider what you're using. I have a link to a video that I made about tampons, so you might find that interesting. But again, during your period, use cloth, use natural products, and try not to use anything unnatural or bleached. I'm a big fan of things like moon cups or diva cups and reusable pads, so have a look at those and check the video out. If we return now to BV, some studies have shown that there is a twofold risk of miscarriage if you have BV or undiagnosed BV, and it's something that's so easy to treat. And yes, it does involve a course of antibiotics, and yes, I am a Chinese medicine practitioner and you can see all my beautiful herbs in the background, but sometimes you need drugs. Let's not mess around. This is serious stuff. Sometimes we need drugs, and this can be supportive. This can help regulate the body after taking antibiotics, for example. But I certainly, you know, if it was me, I'd take the drugs, but that's my choice. If you have something that's ongoing, then you do have to consider what your choices are. So some studies have shown that BV can cause miscarriage before 16 weeks. So again, if you're trying to get pregnant or you've had recurrent miscarriage, this is something you do need to check, and it is so easy. It's just a simple swab. BV can interfere with the cervical mucus, which therefore can also inhibit the travelling of the sperm up to the uterus. The other thing that it can do is it can affect sperm motility. So again, this is something that you do need to look at. And lastly, BV can affect the fallopian tubes. It can cause damage to the fallopian tubes. And again, this is something that is quite important when you're talking about fertility. So go and get a check. And if you want some help, if you've got any questions, then I'm more than happy to answer them. So drop a link in the chat below, or if you want to message me privately, then you're more than welcome to email me directly so that it's not on the public forum. info@nicolacourt.co.uk. You send me a message. I am more than happy to help out and see if we can improve what's going on with you. And this has been a really interesting topic, and again, it was purely down to my friend sending me this book, this notebook. So yeah, let's sort out the itching. All right, and have a nice day, and I look forward to our next video.